afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Propagandacast. Lehr with me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master of Instruction, Knowledge, and all the good stuff. Off here to look at the Flak emplacement, the 2cm Flak 38 emplacement, part of the Oberkommanders Luftwaffe All Fortifications Doctrine as the heavy fortifications ability constructible by the Sturm Pioneers. And it's actually been, made useful now, roughly having the same stats as the Flak half track, just, in static form. And that rather means, position correctly, you can actually do a lot to disrupt your opponent's movements. And also somewhat slightly deal with light vehicles. Mostly just, make it really difficult to deal with infantry because the Flak emplacement is actually pretty good versus infantry. Lastly, the Flak emplacement is kind of good versus infantry. Of course, the trick is, well, where do you build it? How do you build it? And the trick to the Flak emplacement, building it is, you don't build it right in front of the enemy. You don't build it in the most obvious of spots because the thing is, even here where it's so, reasonably covered the house, the thing is it's still going to be active in some way targeted as one of the first things ever possible. And that rather means the Flak emplacement actually is a very, very easy target to take out. And that's not really where it excels. Where more wants from the Flak emplacement is, for example, over here to cover the fuel point, bear behind so any harassers are quickly stopped, as an example. Or as part of a front line, you'd actually place them more around here, where you then have all your troops at the front line. That way, once the front line begins cropping, you have to get away. The opponent then begins to push. He will then run into a second line of defense in the form of Flak emplacement. That's more easily slowed down. Whereas here, he can immediately just begin targeting all of his heavy weapons at the Flak emplacement first thing and deal with it. Whereas, once this sort is going, things are all beginning to run into issues. A Flak emplacement will all of a sudden be a huge obstacle for him to deal with and having to push through, which might then give you time to counterattack by hitting the flank or something like that. So, in this regard, the position here of Findeed's Flak emplacement is not the most optimal one, I'd say, personally. And again, could have been positioned better here, here, here. But right here just feels a bit too much on the nose, too close to the front line, too, much like putting all your jewelry right in the window, pretty much asking for someone to break the window and steal all your jewelry, or in this case, asking someone to destroy your Flak emplacement pretty fast. But again, a well-positioned Flak emplacement can, of course, have an impact on your opponent. Also, it is a bit weird. He then has an MD-34 also working with it. Seems a bit superfluous, to be honest, by Findeed. And he could easily then use his machine gun there a lot more actively. But again, a well-positioned Flak emplacement can, I think, have an impact on the opponent. Can slow him down, can deal with infantry, can also secure areas, and of course requires a certain amount of resources to deal with. So that's overall pretty handy. But again, as you can see here, when it's so close to the front line as it is, it's, not too difficult for your opponent to just run up and sort of begin bombarding it. Or just dealing with it because, again, it's just pretty much that straightforward. It's going to be one of the first things your opponent can just begin shooting at, and that is not the optimal positioning of a Flak emplacement. So that sort of covers here the Propagandacast layer on the Flak emplacement. Again, used correctly, it can be used to lock down territories from your opponent, make it hard for them to harass, sneak about. Even you could use it to cover flanks because, again, it can sort of reasonably well deal with infantry assaults, nicely locking them down very fast. And of course, unlike the bunker, can switch between targets. So in that regard, it's a lot harder to outmaneuver. So there you go. Hopefully this has been a slightly educational video, sort of giving you more thoughts on the Flak emplacement. A unit that's been for quite a long time just been absolutely terrible, but now is actually kind of useful. Of course, again, probably not seeing a lot of usage, but that's probably getting in part because you kind of just want to, right in front of the enemy and so, look, I got a Flak emplacement. And they'll say, great, I'll shoot it to bits, which again is not what you want to do. Again, the trick is slightly behind or coming sort of more harassable points on the sort of far sides. So there you go. Hopefully this video was useful to you. Subscribe, like, share, comment on it. If you like what I do, consider donating or pledging on Patreon. Links in the video description for that. This is Imperial Dane. Cheers, thank you for watching, and see you all another time for another video. Bye.